Hello, my name is Art Serratelli and I'm the partner we are a full-service immigration law group within the law firm. If you've got a question, we've got an answer. Give us a call. Today's video is all about the big picture ideas and concepts regarding naturalization. Naturalization as a United States citizen. First, let's start with the basics of naturalization. Well, what's the prerequisite? What's the first thing you need in order to become a United States citizen? And the answer is a green card. And you need to have your green card for 5 years before you're eligible for citizenship in the United States. So, basic rule, get a green card. And I've got a separate video on the Immigration Art video channel on YouTube regarding 5 ways to get a green card. But you've got to get the green card first, have it for 5 years, and then you're eligible for citizenship. General rule number 2. There's just one exception to that 5-year rule. If you get your green card through marriage to an American citizen, you're eligible to become a citizen yourself, a naturalized U.S. citizen. You're eligible in 3 years instead of 5. Count them, 1, 2, 3. 3 years. All right, general rule number 3. You've got to maintain your lawful permanent residence, your green card status, for the 5-year period prior to naturalizing, or if you got your green card through marriage to a U.S. citizen, for the 3-year period prior to naturalization. You've got to maintain your lawful permanent resident status. What does that mean? Well, let's just look at the words. Permanent residence. Permanent. What does that mean? Where are you permanently located? Physically, where are you? Are you in America physically? Good. Then you're permanently here. Residence. Where do you live? When you go home every night, are you going home to some place inside America? That's the real basic idea. Now I'll toss in some legal words. First thing, physically, where are you? There's something called a continuous physical presence test. Continuous physical presence test. What is that? Simply put, if you need to be a green card holder for 5 years before getting in line for citizenship, or 3 years if you married a United States citizen to get your green card, you need to be, quote, continuously physically present in America. You need to be here for half the time that's required. So if it's a 5-year period, as a prerequisite, you got to be in America 2.5 years plus a day. If you've got the 3-year track, then you need to have satisfied the continuous physical presence test. You need to be living inside America, physically here, for 1.5 years plus a day. And regarding the requirement of residence, there's a problem, an issue arises if you're outside America residing somewhere else. If you are outside of America for 6 months or more, the guy at the border and the person reviewing your naturalization application, either one of them or both, they might say, "Whoa, you were outside America for 6 months or more? You went home to a residence for over 6 months that was not in America? Are you really a permanent resident anymore of America? Where do you live?" That's a problem. And if you stay out too long, say for a year or more, then the person reviewing your citizenship application, or worse, the person at the border, when you try to come back to America with your green card after being away for a year or more, they might say, whoa, you've been gone so long, you don't reside here anymore. It's been a long time since you've been physically present, so I gotta ask you, where do you reside now? Where do you live? You've been going to some house, some residence, some other place in the world for over a year, and then you want me to believe that you live in America? You don't reside here. That's the concept of residence. So keep those two concepts in mind. Physical presence, continuous physical presence, and residence. Where do you reside? If you're outside America too long, you no longer live, you no longer reside in America under the immigration law of America as it's currently written. Let's just quickly go over what happens in the immigration office when you take the naturalization test you may have heard about, and when you have your naturalization interview. The interview is basically going through your application. The application is called an N-400. As part of that interview, they ask you some questions. There's a test. There's an English component. Can you, I'm not making this up, can you write one simple English sentence that is dictated to you? For example, can you write one sentence in English? The interviewer will say, please write the following sentence, and then you listen, and then they say something like, every good United States citizen votes on election day, period. And then you have to write that sentence down on a piece of paper. Oh. 2, they'll ask you to look at a piece of paper. There'll be 3 sentences there. They'll say, please read out loud sentence number 2. And sentence number 2 might say something like, every good citizen goes to their local polling place on election day and casts a ballot. So you read those words and you say them out loud. There, that's the English test. How about that? You write a sentence and you read and say out loud another sentence. You just have to review 100 questions. They're on the government website. Here, I'll give you the link. Here's the link. You review the answers to these 100 questions. They'll ask you 10 of them, and you got to get more right than you get wrong. You got to get a majority of them right. And the questions are things like, what's the longest river in America? Who was the first president? What is equal protection under the law? Which branch of the United States government makes the law? Which branch of the United States government enforces the law? You memorize it. You go through the 100 questions and you memorize them. This is a problem, however. The English and the civics is a problem, however, if you are a person who hasn't mastered the English language. Then it's a problem. Don't memorize the answers to questions and not really understand. If someone says to you, what's the longest river in America? And you answer, the executive branch, bad. You know what I mean? Common sense. And whenever I'm talking with clients about citizenship, naturalizing to become a U.S. citizen, the follow-up question always, without a doubt, is, well, can I be a dual citizen? Does American immigration law let me be a dual citizen? Are you ready? Dual citizenship is a function of the law of your home country. America and a handful of other countries in the world, we're stubborn, we're arrogant. We only want you loyal to us. That's our law. Once you become a U.S. citizen, during the interview, you renounce all ties and loyalties to any other country on earth. And then, once you do that, you walk out the immigration door, you've got your naturalization certificate. It says you are a citizen of America. You pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. If your country, say you're from Canada, does Canada care if you just promise to only be loyal to America? If Canada cares, then you are not a dual citizen. And you got to go back to Canada and turn in your passport, your Canadian passport, and you only have an American passport. Thank goodness Canadians, they don't care. You want to be a dual citizen of America and of Canada? Fine. Keep your Canadian passport, the Canadians will tell you, under their immigration law. Keep your Canadian passport. You just promised America to be loyal to them and only to them. We don't care. Now, if you're from some other country, China, they'll tell you, whoa, you just promised America you were only going to be loyal to America? Well, you can't be loyal to us and also loyal to America. We're going to make you pick. Pick one. Pick them or pick us. Them or us. And that's what happens when two stubborn countries, when two countries that don't believe in multiple citizenships are involved. In my personal opinion, the more citizenships, the better. So, are you a dual citizen? Look to the law of your home country. And a few other big picture items in terms of the requirements for naturalization. I'm not covering them all, just the big ones. You need you need to have good moral character. Now, what does good moral character mean? It sounds like church. Do you have to go to church? Do you have to be morally pure? No. You just have to not be a criminal. Are you a drug dealer? Are you trafficking in human beings? Are you a murderer? Have you robbed a bank? Have you beaten somebody senseless? If you've committed crimes, bad, very bad crimes, no citizenship for you. In fact, you may even lose your green card. So don't be a criminal, particularly a violent criminal. Or you could be just as bad off if you're a white-collar criminal. Don't engage in fraud. Don't counterfeiting. Bad idea. The other way you can be considered to have less than good moral character is if you don't follow certain rules. Do you pay your taxes? Really, that's a requirement. Have you paid your taxes for the last 5 years or 3 years? Have you paid child support? If you got divorced and a judge ordered you to pay child support to support the children that are yours and you don't, trouble, bad moral character. And another thing, something about selective service. If you're here with a green card and you don't register for selective service, that's a fancy way to say the draft. Did you register to be drafted in the United States Armed Services? If you didn't register for selective service when you should have, that's a problem, and we have to deal with that. In a nutshell, you need good moral character. If you have any questions about anything I've just discussed, give us a call.